Hey, I'm Ben Jaye, and welcome to the Creators Lounge podcast. Here on the podcast, I talk with the creator in the music sphere about their art, their process, and their inspiration. I want you to hear something of value, something that inspires or motivates you, something that can help you on your own journey. So sit back, listen in, and I hope you enjoy the show. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Creators Lounge podcast. I'm really excited to get to talk to today's guest. They've had quite a career, a lot of ups and downs, and they're still going, and they have a lot yet to achieve. So let's get into this. Guys, what is your name, where are you from, and what do you do?
Well, hello, I'm David. I make music, and yeah.
All right, David, and now Hugo.
Hey, I'm Hugo. I also make music. I also do graphic design, and I'm from Ireland.
And then real quick, David, you're from the States, is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to say, yes, I'm from the States, the United States.
All right. So they are basically, guys, they are a music production duo, long-distance duo. Let's start from the beginning. David, what was the initiation of Infowler? How did that get started?
So basically, I was going through, I was just like on YouTube, I was just looking at videos and stuff, and I saw this guy, and he was like doing like a dubstep tutorial in like Logic Pro, and his name was Kai. And like in the description, I was like, "Wow, this is really good. Check out my music." And then I sent a link in the comments, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll check it out." Yeah, he checked out my music. He was like, "Wow, this is really great. We should collab or something." So we both added each other on Skype, and we just talked from there. We made a collab, and then after he was like, "Hey, do you want to start a duo?" And I was like, "Yeah." So me and Kai started Infowler. How the name came was just like. Basically, I was just looking at like random name generators, and like it just sounded really cool, so I just stuck with it.
What a beginning, man. And what year was this?
This was 2014, I believe.
Okay, so about 4 years ago. By the way, if you commented on someone's like video nowadays with a link to check out my stuff, it would be immediately marked as spam, I think. So
Yeah.
It's super interesting. And so you and Kai start making music together. And when did you release your first project as Infowler?
I believe we did like in March 2015. I think that's when we made our first track.
Okay. And was that the Misinterpreted EP, or was it just a single?
It was just a single. It was just Unwind. That was our first ever track.
Okay, awesome. So you guys get together, start making music, and eventually you come out with an EP called Misinterpreted. Talk to us about this EP for a bit.
This EP was one of the first EPs I've ever done. Well, actually, it was. I didn't know what an EP was, actually. So Kai taught me about that. Basically, I had a lot of fun making it. There's a lot of tracks I don't like anymore because it's old, but I still really do like the ideas. It was just really fun to do it with Kai. Yeah, all the tracks were fun to make. Misinterpreted, I really love the piano. Just everything, like, it was a pretty good EP for the time, I would believe, and, like, it was the first thing that people saw, and that were like, whoa, we got a few, there's a lot happened then, I didn't even know what was going on, it felt like a lot to me, yeah, it was just a lot of fun to make, honestly.
So at that point, was Kai kind of more the leader in the group, or you guys were both just figuring stuff out?
We were both just figuring things out at the time. He would do like the drops and I would do everything else, so it was pretty much equal.
Gotcha. You guys did a lot of music on that one. The styles, you had heavy dubstep, you guys had some electro. It was all basically EDM. What were the influences at that time for you, David?
At the time, it was definitely Virtual Riot. Misinterpreted, a very heavy inspiration from Nightmare. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like Evil Arcade was just a glitch hop idea. Flip Flaptastic was a collab with Fovon. Yeah, like most of the inspiration was probably Virtual Riot, to be honest.
Right, I got it, man. It was a very early piece of work, and it sounded like a lot of the music at the time, which isn't a bad thing. It's all very nostalgic to me. I love it. But at that stage, what were you thinking about the project? Like, what was your mental state? Was it something like you took seriously, or more of like a hobby, a fun thing?
It was more of a hobby back then. Like, I didn't really take it. I mean, it was kind of serious, but like, I wasn't like, wow, I'm gonna get big from this. I was kind of just having fun, to be honest.
Gotcha. And then also at that time, because I noticed that some of the songs have racked up to like around 2K plays, 4K plays on SoundCloud. Did you guys do any promotion at the time, or just kind of put the single out there and just keep making music?
We just threw it out there. Well, I'm actually astonished on how much we got from no promo. So yeah, it was no promotion for the most part.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, accumulated plays, I guess, over time, when people find your new stuff, they can jump back and find the old stuff as well. So from the Misinterpreted EP, it was you and Kai together making music, and then after you did that one, there was a single called Mirthful, and that was Kai's departure, correct?
Yes.
And tell us about that for just a second. Like, why did Kai leave? The reasons behind that.
Well, basically, me and Kai were like kind of fighting a little bit. So we're good now. Don't worry. But yeah, at the time we were kind of fighting. So, and then like out of nowhere, I was like, because Mirthful was actually supposed to be another EP, but we scrapped it because he wanted to do his own thing. He basically he wanted to do like rock type stuff. Well, now he wants to do jazz. But yeah, he's not really that much into the EDM scene anymore. So I was like, all right, I'll just make Mirthful just be the last track that we do together.
Yeah, I get it. And I mean, artistic differences, of course, that's going to come up. And it's not like either one's wrong or right. It's just the way that it is. And real quick about Kai, had you guys ever met in person or just over the internet?
It was just over the internet. We were planning on meeting, but we never got to.
Okay, so after Kai leaves, you're on your own. What do you feel like at that point? Because Infowler was still just kind of a fun project for you. Did you lose motivation to keep making music as Infowler, or was it like, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to keep doing this?
I was thinking about it, like, because Kai, he was like really good at putting the tracks out there, because eventually he had his own Instagram, and a lot of people liked his Instagram, so he was a big help on getting it out there. So when I was debating on if I wanted to continue. I even in the description of Mirthful, I was like, do you guys want me to continue? And I'm really glad that I did. For the Orb EP was like the thing. I just wanted to come out with another EP and just prove to everyone, hey, I'm not gonna let Infowler die. So Orb EP was a lot of fun to make. Definitely probably saved Infowler, because if I didn't make it, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be doing something else.
Wow, that's incredible. So you kind of just like, it was like you were back to the wall, and you were like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make this. I'm going to put it out. And the Orbit EP was pretty cool. It had a lot of 8-bit influence. There was some orchestrations on there. What was the creative process for that? How long did it take to put it together and release it?
I believe it took a month or two to create it. Again, I had a lot of fun making it. Really, to this day, I think I still really like Orbit. Of course, it's dated, but I definitely still like my ideas. Yeah, like it was really fun. Like I really love all of them.
I respect that, man. I like how you can look back at it, and even though you understand like it was from that point in time, you can still accept it for like what it is and the effort that you put into it. That's really cool.
Exactly.
And so what I noticed real quick as I flipped through your discography is that in the early days it was pretty heavy EDM kind of stuff, and then around Orbit and thereafter you kind of got more of a chill influence. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
And then real quick, if you could explain, like, why did you make more chill music as compared to heavy stuff?
Well, because Kai used to do all the drops, and he was really good at doing like the heavy dubstep part. I was not really that great at doing dubstep. I'm still not that great at doing dubstep. So I really like doing melodic chill stuff. Like that's like my sweet spot. So I just started to make more chill 8-bit. I really like the 8-bit like chiptune sounds also. So I started putting that into my future tracks. I honestly like the style I have now. The style I did have was good with Kai, but I prefer the chill melodic type stuff.
Even now you still do chill or melodic stuff, but it is kind of, it's back a little bit to your EDM roots, where it has a lot of like energetic EDM along with the chill vibes, is what I've noticed anyway. And so after that, like you go on to a couple more releases and EPs. I noticed that your plays really spiked around like after the Orbit EP. You put out like the Halloween remix, and then you even had a song after that that had like 11.4k streams. So after Kai left, you were on your own, you're making music. What changes for you as an artist?
Honestly, I just got more serious. Like it became more serious, like something like I wanted to, I mean, it's still kind of a hobby. Like I don't make a living from it yet, but it's kind of like both, like it's a hobby and I want it to be my job. and I still love making music to this day. It's just so relaxing for me. Like I can just sit down and just make something, and I can be happy about it.
Yeah, I get it, man. All right, guys, music break. Let's check out some of Infowler's music. This song is called Spirit, personal favorite of David's. And now, Hugo, I'm sorry, we've been neglecting you for the first part.
Nah, it's fine, man.
As we kind of look at the history of Infowler, I'm super curious. How did you and David meet?
I was like browsing Twitch, and David has like a live streaming hobby and all that stuff. And I was just looking at like music production channels because I was like, I had this track. Maybe I would get like some feedback on it. Maybe I'd just learn some stuff from watching other people make stuff. Because at that time I was pretty fresh into the game. Like I literally I think I was at my half year at that point. And I found David's live stream. He was on FL. That's why I kind of went there, to be honest, because I'm an FL user. And he was doing like raffle sessions, and I was just like, screw it. I'll just put my link in chat and see what he says. And yeah, he liked the track. He had some things with it, and he told me about that. And I joined his Discord. And I don't know. I kept on going to his live streams. It just kept on like happening. I don't know. It's kind of like it happened like really quickly. Like I joined his Discord. I did like his after parties in his Discord because for his streams. And then I don't know. I got into like a private call with him one time, and then I showed him like this work in progress. And this is kind of like a transition to how we started like working together, if that's all right. But it was literally just like this simple thing because one of our friends had like a remix contest, and I like just messed with the chords, and David was like, "Yo, I really like that idea. Can I work with this?" And then we just started working together. It just happened from there.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so David, to backtrack just a second, you were doing Twitch. What got you into Twitch streaming?
I've actually been doing Twitch since like 2016 because I just like showing off my projects and stuff. I just really like streaming. Like I just did it for fun. And then I just continued on. And now I have like a schedule. Like before I just streamed like every like month. But now I have like a schedule, so.
Okay, and so Hugo shows up in your comment section, and you guys kind of start, like, he becomes like a regular viewer, and you guys like kind of hit each other back and forth. What's going through your mind at that point?
It went by so fast. Like when I first met him, he was like, "Whoa, this dude's cool, right?" And then we like went to a private call, like he said, and like, yeah, he showed me something really cool, like the D&B thing idea that he had, and I just absolutely loved it. I had so many ideas right then and there. And we collabed on it. And it was kind of like the Kai situation, actually, which is really cool. where we collabed on something first, like solo aliases, and then we joined together. So yeah.
Right, I get it, man. But I have to point out that like the first time like you had worked with Kai, you guys kind of fell apart along the ways, and was there any like reservations you had into joining Hugo as like a duo?
I was thinking about it for a while because like he was really good, and like I don't think I could really run Infowler by myself. Like I did it for a long period of time, but like I really needed help with like artwork and like ideas because sometimes like I didn't release for a long period of time. So yeah, he really I guess saved me a little bit. I could continue, but like he definitely made me change so I wasn't doing the same things over and over again.
That's really cool, man. I like how your creative style is like someone who works in partnerships or in duos. That's really cool. And Hugo, for you, how did you feel whenever you guys started talking about becoming a duo?
I was kind of overwhelmed because at the time it was kind of just I haven't been producing for that long, and I still haven't been. I think I'm a little bit over a year. I think I'm a week over a year now. And I don't know, he brought up the idea to me, and I thought about it for a long time. I was looking at the message for a really long time, and like, to be fair, at the time I was like at a phase where I was just like, I don't know if I should keep doing this. I don't feel like I'm that good. And then he invited me to his thing, and then it kind of got me thinking that maybe I'm better than how I think. And I was just kind of like, you know what? Why not? I really like you. You're a really cool guy. I loved working with you. He's such a nice guy. Like, deadass, he's like one of the nicest guys I know. And I was just like, yeah, sure. And it kind of just went from there. It was a big spiral.
That's cool, guys. That's cool. So you guys kind of had like this natural vibe, and you guys were able to turn that into art. That's really awesome. So what was the first project that you guys put out together?
The first project that we put out would have been the GIF remix. It was a GIFs remix of
the
our friend
collab.
Katastrophe.
Yeah.
What year was that, guys? Just this year, or?
Yeah, it was this year.
June.
Yeah, it was in June.
So real quick, if it's in June, then when did Hugo and you, David, when did you guys team up for real as Infowler?
I believe actually we did it in June, and then the remix actually came out in July. My bad. But yeah, we did meet in June, and that's when we were talking.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys are still pretty new as working as a duo.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but your music sounds really good. Like the last few things you put out have been like extremely polished. I'm curious about like you guys' creative workflow. Who usually starts the songs?
It's actually really 50-50.
It is,
I
yeah.
think.
Sometimes I start things, sometimes Hugo starts things. It's pretty equal, to be honest.
Okay, and do you guys have like certain roles that you play? Previously, Kai would do the drops, whereas David would do the lead-ups. Is that the same for now, or?
Once again,
a little different now.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of just like, it just depends on like the thing. It's not like, no, we don't have roles. We just like put in our ideas and see how it goes.
There's not really roles anymore. We kind of just, we put our ideas in, we put it together, and we both like it.
Super organic, guys. I love that. Although creating as a duo, you kind of have to be in the same headspace in some way to make a good project. And so because of that, I'm curious about you guys' influences growing up. Hugo, first off, for you, what was the kind of music that influenced you as a child into your teenage years?
When I was younger, I wasn't actually really a musical person. I didn't listen to much music, really, but I remember like vividly in my childhood, I would listen to like these like weird songs in my aunt's car, and I would just like, I would love it, and I really wish I could remember what the songs were, but I don't know, I just loved it, and I would keep on like listening to those songs up until I would be about like 7 or 8 years old, and then I don't know, I just kind of like stopped listening to music. I didn't really listen to music that much. It wasn't really an interest for me. I think I really got back into like listening to music and stuff when I was like around 11 or 12, and then that would have been like Monster Cat, Virtual Riot, like people like that. And I don't know, it just kind of spiraled from there. I keep on saying that.
No, I get it, man. I get it. It was kind of just like a domino effect where stuff kind of led to another thing. So then getting into music, what were your influences for creating? Was it other artists you had heard? Was it TV shows you grew up watching? Or
I would definitely say it was other artists I've heard before. Lots of it was from actually like really small, like underground artists. I just found like this really small record label one day, and I was just listening to it, and I was just like, dude, this is so cool. I really want to try this. But I would have that mindset for like a very long time. And then I found like this little Akai MIDI keyboard. I was staying at my dad's at the time. I found it in my brother's room, and I was just like, I'll give it a go. Why not? And I was just messing with it for like hours. I would be having like so much fun, and I would like just be like experimenting with like everything I could. And yeah, that wasn't even that long ago as well. It was, I think that would have been around September last year.
Wow, man, it's crazy. So, pretty recently you got into it, and then look where you already are right now. Congratulations on that. David, let's jump over to you. Hugo said he didn't listen to too much music when he was a kid. It was more maybe the teenagers when he got into it. Is that the same for you, or what's your story?
It's pretty opposite, actually. I've always loved music. Like, music is like, it's just one of the things I absolutely love. Like when I was growing up, I really liked classical rock. Like
AC/DC,
I can't
Metallica.
really think of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Zeppelin,
I couldn't think of the names. Exactly. Yeah. And then I believe I moved towards like I liked techno back in like 2010, like when it was starting out, or like it was getting popular. I did really like techno at the time, and then I moved to Monster Cat, which had so many artists that I love, like Nitro Fun, Virtual Riot, just so many of the starting artists in Monster Cat was very big inspirations to me still now. But yeah, I just kind of went from there. I just love EDM. It's absolutely amazing to hear what people can do.
It's interesting, man. You mentioned classic rock. I talk to so many artists these days, and a lot of them talk about that growing up around classic rock artists from the 70s and 80s. Do you think that still influences you now, or not at all?
I don't know if it does now. I still listen to classical rock. And it's probably because of my dad, because he really loves rock and classical rock and stuff like that. So he was definitely an influence on me listening to it as a kid. But it doesn't really do much to me now. I still love listening to it, though.
Yeah. I talked to Sekai a few weeks ago. I know you guys are close friends, and he mentioned the same thing. He's really into like punk rock and classic rock as well. Death Cab for Cutie and artists like that, and he was talking about how it still influences him now. He likes to pull guitars into his production and stuff like that. For you guys, what is some sounds that you want to try out that you haven't tried out yet?
I definitely want to do exactly that. I want to get a guitar and like some EDM drop type things. Like that's amazing. Like I love guitars. I wish I could play them. I definitely want to learn it. But I definitely love guitars. I definitely want to put that in a track. Yeah, I just want to try out different genres because I've been doing the same things, and Hugo's really helped me there. Like I was doing like melodic dubstep. Pretty much that was it. It was like melodic dubstep and lo-fi and electro, and now like I do future bass, melodic dubstep, house, like so many different other genres that I've never done before, and I probably wouldn't have ever done them if it wasn't for Hugo to tell me, "Oh, don't do the same thing over and over again. Try something new."
Right. Okay, Hugo, so David's saying that you really influenced him. Will you consciously influence him with the changing of sounds, or was it more of a subconscious thing?
I would say it was more of a subconscious thing. My goal wasn't to change his style or anything. I just thought maybe let's just change it up a bit. Let's do something different to what we did before. And I think it's worked out pretty well. Like the Celestial remix that we did, that was one of our most unique tracks ever. If you've listened to it or anything like that, you would be able to tell, like in contrast to anything else, it's just so different to anything else that Infowler has put out ever. I think that's a pretty good example to show like how I've influenced him, I guess.
Right, man. It is true. It's very different from you guys' previous stuff. And I want to talk about this for just a minute, is that Infowler has been super consistent. Like the last 3-4 years, you guys have really put out like a lot of music consistently. I'm curious, David, what have you learned these past like 3 to 4 years musically?
I have learned a lot, and I'm really grateful that I learned piano before I started like making music, because like knowing piano and also doing music really helps. Like you can come up with a bunch of like melodies and chords pretty easily. But yeah, I think I've grown definitely since my starting years. I've learned so much, like how to mix, sidechain, all the basic stuff, pretty much. Like it's just, I've learned actually probably more in these past few months because of Sekai and Hugo, and a few other friends, for teaching me things I never knew about FL Studio, and yeah, for just showing me new stuff and more possibility, more things I can probably do. So yeah, these past few months I've learned probably more than I've had my entire 4 years.
That's massive, man. Good job. Keep it up as well. Hugo, for you, since you're still pretty recent and new into music, for the audience, please give us some ways that you can improve in music. Like, what have you used to improve at music, to get better at music production?
I would say the best thing to do, and for me, I found this great, is to try something different. For such a long time when I was starting out, I would make the same thing over and over again. It was probably in the same key, to be honest. And it all sounded the same. I would say definitely keep trying something different. Try and make it sound like you, and just work on polishing it gradually. If that's kind of how I went about it, it all happened so quick for me that I don't really know how to describe it. I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, I'd just say keep on experimenting. I think that's one of the most important things for me, especially.
Right, I got it, man. And you said about trying new things, experimenting. What are some of the, if we could be a little more practical here, what are some exact things that you did in order to make yourself do different things? What were the steps you took to do different things?
I would listen to a song. I'd be really inspired by it, and then I would sit down and I would start making something, but I would realize it was kind of really similar. But I was trying to think I need to stop doing this. I need to try and do my own thing. And I started doing these really weird I don't know. It's just I tried doing something I've never heard before, but it's kind of has the influence of it. And I think also the Celestial remix has a big influence with that too. I never really heard that kind of. I've heard that kind of song, but I've not heard that type of song done that way. If that makes sense.
Okay, got it. So I guess things to try different chords for music production, try different plugins or different sound fonts or whatever it is. And that can go for other fields as well. If you're painting, try a different kind of brush or try a different kind of color. But thank you for sharing that, Hugo. I think it's important for people to hear is how to make that change, because I know that everybody wants to try something different, but I think that they can sometimes lose themselves on how to try those different things. So thank you for sharing that. Real quick, because you guys have, like I said, you've been really consistent with your output. How do you stay creative so consistently?
It's honestly really hard to explain. But sometimes I make multiple things a day. I just get inspired by anything I do. If I watch a video, I hear a song in the background, I hear a little lead or little ARP thing, bam, I'll be in FL recreating that ARP, trying something different in a different key, just trying to see if I could come up with something with it. So I'm always creative, mostly just because everything around me affects what I like to do. If I'm listening to, again, anything, if I'm listening to a track and I really like the idea, I'll try something different with it. So I'm pretty much always creative.
Right, man, I get it. And guys, I'm curious as well. I kind of want to hear both of your answers to this question. What drives you to keep creating and releasing and promoting music? For Hugo, let's hear your answer first, my man. What's your motivation to keep doing Infowler? I
love doing creative things. I've done graphic design for, I think I've done it since 2014, but I think I took it seriously since 2016. I've always loved being creative, and I think music was really cool for me because I love it so much. It's so much fun, and people listen, and you make sometimes you make people happy. It inspires you. For me, if that makes sense, it inspires me, but it could inspire other people if they were doing it as well. I don't really know how to describe that. I'm very sorry, but I'd say yeah, I don't know. I just love being creative, I guess.
And I think that you're glad because you can make an impact with your music. I think that's kind of the feeling is what I got, is that it makes you happy and then it also makes other people feel something. And so that's kind of the impact you're making with the music. That's really, really cool. For you, David, what's your motivation to keep producing and making music?
Again, I love getting people happy about my music. Like that just brings me so much joy to know that someone would actually like something that I've made. It's just amazing, and it's like whenever I see a nice comment on one of my songs, even by one person, just some random dude that's like, wow, this is really great, that inspires me to keep going and to keep making more things, to keep creating, keep trying different things. Hopefully to get more of those amazing comments to keep me more inspired.
Yep, that makes sense. David, for you real quick, because you've been doing it for longer, what are some of the moments that you're most proud of as a musician?
I was definitely most proud of Moment, which was my biggest release. I got a lot of promotion on it, and it was just actually a really big moment, actually, ironically, in my career. Yeah, I had so much fun making Moment, and like I was so proud of it, and I just when I released it and like it got popular to me anyway, I was like, whoa, I can't believe people actually liked it. My second is definitely I know this is really recent, but Spirit. Spirit means so much to me. Spirit is like my best work, and I can't just explain it, but Spirit, I love Spirit. It's my favorite thing.
Yes, aptly named.
It was, yeah.
And that was released on the Exobolt label, so that's a really cool. Congrats on that, guys. How did that come about, by the way? Were you guys just because you're friends with them, or?
Actually, I was on. This is actually kind of funny. It's my first time ever on Sekai's stream. Because he streams as well. I went to his stream. It was my first time ever being there. He was doing feedback. I believe I was the last person to go, and I sent in Spirit. It was a short version. It had a few problems, but they told me feedback, of course, and they really liked it. And Alex, which is one of the members of Exobolt, the other half, he was also there, and he was like, "Hey, this should be on Exobolt," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So because this is my first, Spirit was also my first ever release on a big label, because I've mostly been on small labels, so Spirit, helped me get there. So yeah, Alex was there. He told me, "Hey, we should get this on Exobolt," and I was like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." And now, the other me, Jono, and Alex, which is the creators of Exobolt, Jono and Alex, we're good friends now. So it's really nice. I got to meet so many new people. Just so many things happened to me when I met Tiago. Like, actually, if I didn't meet Sekai, which is Tiago, I probably would have never met Hugo, because I wouldn't have streamed more, and he wouldn't have seen my streams.
Right, that's really cool, man. And both Alex and Tiago have both been on the show before. Fabulous guys. They had a lot of great thoughts, and they've done so much for the community. I really respect them. For you, Hugo, what are some of the moments that stand out to you in your career as a musician?
I think probably when I released that gift remix with David, I just saw the feedback from it, and it was just so inspiring to me, and it was so happy to see it. I think I was on holiday at the time as well. I was up in the UK, and it was so daunting to me that I went from just doing this in my bedroom because I was bored to I really want to do this. This is something I want to do. And it just made me so happy to see it doing so well, and people actually liking it for once, because I used to get nothing from it. I used to just post it, get 10 plays and nothing else,
Congrats on that. I mean, you guys are doing some great work, and you're achieving a lot. Alright guys, another music break. This song is by Katastrophe. It's called Gifts. However, the remix is from Infowler and Cosmet. Enjoy.
we would be together endlessly here. But either way, thanks for sharing those gifts with me.
I'm curious because you guys are a duo, obviously, you make music together. Do you ever have creative differences?
Yes. I think sometimes we do have different ideas for things. Which is fun because sometimes, you know, the ideas, like we'll trash an idea. Sometimes we'll be nice. We'll be like, hey, you can do your idea instead. It's better. Or like, hey, you know, so it's not like that bad. We just kind of work it out and get something to sound actually, you know, decent.
It's a little bit of give and take, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it is with any kind of relationship, working relationship or whatever. It's communication, I feel like, is the important thing. Hugo, what's the importance of communication for you and David?
Whenever we work on something, we talk about it a lot. We think about what we want to do and we talk about it before we really do it. Usually when we work on stuff, we're actually in calls together. That's a big part of our workflow. We're usually together when we're doing stuff. It's not often that it's like just one-on-one between like me and like making it or him and making it. We usually do it together. If it's a project that we are working on together, there's some times that where we do projects that we're doing by ourselves or like projects that David's doing for fun. He does that a lot. And yeah, it's just really, that's kind of how we work. We do it a lot together. It's more of a like one-on-one type thing.
Yeah, and it's really nice that we have like the internet. We can be able to do this, right? We can collaborate on stuff via video chat or audio chat or whatever, and just do that, because obviously we couldn't have done that, like, you know, even 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I guess we probably could have, but it wouldn't have been as convenient as it is now, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, real quick, I want to ask you guys, what are the good things about producing as a duo? David, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, like, it's so sometimes he makes things that inspire me so much, like the Gift remix. He just did like a little intro, and I completed. I had so many ideas for the rest of the track. So just little ideas that Hugo has really inspire me and really get me going to make something really good.
Awesome. And you're able to spin off from that.
Exactly.
Really cool. And then Hugo, for you, the flip side of the question, what are the negatives of producing as a duo?
Maybe idea conflict, probably. It would be the number one thing. Or that. That's a hard question because to me, there isn't much. I don't really have many issues with David. Obviously, for other people, it might be different, but me and David kind of click. We work together pretty easily. I'd say the number one idea would be the number one like issue would probably be idea conflict. Like we don't agree on something or whatever. But like once again, we usually work that out like pretty calmly. We never argue. I've never argued with him in my life.
Awesome, man. Yeah, of course. And I mean, there's always gonna be positives and negatives to any kind of situation, even if it's just a solo producer. Even that has like positives and negatives of producing alone. So of course for a duo there's also positives and negatives, but you guys are making it work and you're doing fantastic at it. Another question about working as a duo: how do you guys handle the time difference?
That's actually a really good question. So Hugo is, I believe, 8 hours ahead of me. So how we do things is that he honestly stays up a lot, so we are able to talk more. I get up pretty early most of the time, but sometimes I like to sleep in. But yeah, most of the time I get up like at 9 a.m. And like, yeah, it's not that bad as you think. But sometimes, like let's say it's like 5 p.m. here, he would probably be going to sleep. So we have to do as much as we can with the time that we have.
That's cool, man. Yeah, definitely. You gotta make it work. You gotta make it work for yourself. Have you guys met in person before?
No, but we do plan on doing it, like, soon.
Right. Do you guys have any, like, concrete plans, or it's just still in the air?
It's pretty still in the air, but
still in the air, yeah.
Most likely within the next 1 or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say.
All right, guys, fantastic. Yeah, are you gonna meet over in Ireland or here in the States?
States.
Yeah.
Hugo says States. All right. Hugo, have you gone to the States before, or?
Oh yeah, many times.
Awesome. Cool. We've kind of looked a lot at like you guys producing as a duo. I'm curious about the heights you want to reach as Infowler. Hugo, let's hear your ideas first, man. What are some of the peaks you want to reach as a musician?
As long as I make people happy, I'm happy. I think that's my main thing. I have goals. Like I have many goals, but I don't think any of them are as important as just making other people happy. To me, anyway.
All right, that's cool, man. That's good. And for you, David, what are some of the heights that you want to reach as a musician?
Again, I do agree with Hugo. The one of my big goals that I really want to be able to reach by the end of the year is be able to hit 1K on SoundCloud. Like that would be probably the world to me. Like that would mean so much to me. I'd be like freaking out, and it's like only 1K, but that feels so much to me.
Right, man, I get it. And you've been doing it for a long time. Like it's been like around 3-4 years for you, so I can understand why that would be something you want to go for. Given that you've been producing and promoting, releasing music for so long, is it ever difficult for you? Do you get depressed or anxious or something like this about your career?
Of course. Like I'm always like, oh, I hope this does well, or like, ooh, I hope I can get some more promotion on this. I worry about my numbers. I really shouldn't worry about my numbers at all. I should just be having fun. But after the beginning, I didn't really care about the numbers, but now of course, I'm starting to get more professional, so I'm starting to become more, affected by the numbers. But in the long run, the numbers don't matter. It just matters about the people who enjoy your music, who really enjoy your music enough to follow you, and just it means so much to me.
Right, man, I get it. And obviously, because when you're an independent producer, you kind of have to handle the business side of stuff as well, and so the numbers come into play there. Hugo, for you, how do you handle mental difficulties in music production?
I don't really know how to answer that question, because really, if I do get anxious about it, or if I do get upset about it, usually like David is always there for me, and like I have all my friends are there for me. But like once again, like as long as I'm making people happy, I'm really happy. Like that's all I want, basically.
That's cool, man. So it's all about community and having good people around you that inspire you and help you.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Very cool. That being the case, like David said, there's some benchmarks you want to reach, and then like Hugo said, of course, you want to make people happy and get that energy out there. What are some of the changes you're looking at making in your career to get closer to those goals?
Definitely want to try more genres. Like I've been doing like mostly the same genres. Something like the Celestial remix, there's gonna be a lot more like, whoa, this is not Infowler. Like I want to surprise people. I want to be like, whoa, we'll make like a dubstep track or something, like something completely out of the blue, that people would like, whoa, this is really cool, and this is Infowler, So definitely more genres. Honestly, just creating more of like EPs, albums, just stuff like that, honestly.
Okay, I get it. So for David, it's basically more music content and kind of push that a lot more, get more diverse with that. Hugo, do you have any ideas on how to improve or do more as Infowler?
I think the same as David, trying out new things, doing all of that. I think that's very important to like grow yourself. Like just keep on trying new things and build up your style. And I think we've built our style fairly well.
Definitely, I agree. Guys, you've racked up countless views, like thousands and tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands on YouTube, having been featured on channels such as Moe Music, Firefly, Siren, Cypher, and even more. How does that feel to you to go on YouTube and see like how popular your songs are with audiences?
It means
Surreal.
So much to me. Like it's like, yeah, exactly, surreal. It's just so weird that I can look up my name on YouTube and I can see a bunch of my tracks. It's like, again, so surreal, and it's amazing. Like it makes me so happy, like to see me on YouTube. It's hard to explain. It's really happy. It just makes me really happy.
Makes you happy to see other people happy, right?
Exactly.
And I was curious, do you guys submit your music to YouTube channels, or do they just pick it up independently?
Some are independent, but mostly we kind of send them in.
Okay. Do you guys have relationships with these music channels, or?
With Hyperbole, yes.
Of course. Shout out to Alex.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you guys have been doing this for a while. You've reached some good marks already. Hugo, to you, do you feel like you've reached a level of success yet?
To me, yeah. I've always like cowered on numbers. There was a point where like I guess I kind of got big on like the whole YouTube scene, but it wasn't really me. I wasn't happy doing it, so I kind of like dipped out of that. But like I feel very happy with where we're at, and I'm really happy with how everything's been turning out.
Okay, awesome. And then for you, David, do you feel successful as a musician or not yet?
Compared to how I was stuck on like 200 and 300 on SoundCloud for the longest time. So being to where I am now feels so weird. Like I don't see me as having what I have right now. It's so weird to see me actually being, because I've always like, no matter what I've done, everything I've done has always been very small. Like not many people get to see it. Like I've done YouTube, that I tried that out, didn't really work out. Did Minecraft content, but yeah, so definitely I feel successful already, and we're not even like halfway there, quarter way there. We're just beginning still. I'm excited to where Infowler leads though in the future.
For sure, guys, for sure. And you've talked a little bit about it already, but I am curious if there's anything more. Hugo, let's have you first. What is the impact you want to make as a musician, as a creative mind?
Going back to the whole happy thing, that is one of my main things. But I think I want to try something different. I definitely want to stand out to the community. I think that would be very cool. Very cool.
Okay, and then for you, David, what's kind of the impact you want to make as a musician, as a creative mind?
I want people to be able to be inspired by my music. Like that feels so surreal. Like having people be like, "Whoa, this is really good. I want to do something kind of like that." But different, like how we started out. Definitely that, and of course making people happy, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. And you guys, I like how you guys have like the same kind of energy, the same kind of motivation. Both David and Hugo, they both kind of have the same vision and stuff for the projects. I think that's why they work so well together. Hugo, for you, what kind of advice would you give to the audience for people who are creative minds who are just getting started, whether it's music or art or architecture or fashion? What are some tips you would give for them on how to get started in the creative field and how to keep going with it?
Getting started, I would say a very important thing to have is inspirations and role models in a way. I think trying new things is very, very important as well. Like I think there's a lot of like saturation in a lot of communities, especially music and like sometimes graphic design, where like everyone does the same thing. It's not really, it doesn't stand out. No one ever stands out. I think it's really important to try and stand out. I think that brings a whole color to the community in a way.
It makes sense, man. And I'm curious about you guys' thoughts on like the EDM music scene right now. Do you feel like it's oversaturated or boring, or are you feel like there's still good things out there?
Both, honestly. Like there's a lot of good things still out there, especially from a bunch of underrated producers we know. There's so many that deserve so much more recognition and have their own styles. Amazing people, and we love them.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of people that like I've never heard of before I joined Infowler. Like I could list a couple. Like I've never heard of Ben Lepper. I've never heard of like I've actually never listened to Sekai before Infowler. And like all these amazing people and just like such unheard talent and like Sharks and like a bunch of people. Just like so many people are so good, but they're not getting heard, and they really deserve to.
Right, guys, I get it. And I want to talk about this for a second because you often hear these comments about people saying this person deserves more recognition, this person should be more famous. It's always should. What do you think these people are not doing that they should be doing in order to get that recognition, to get that kind of spotlight?
When you have like, when you're like doing stuff by yourself, a lot of people get the mindset, oh, I'm not that good. Like you always think to yourself, oh, I'm not that great. Like this person's better. So you never really strive to do something bigger. You kind of just stick to the safe place. I think taking risks sometimes is important, but obviously not all the time. But I think risk taking is a big like thing. Like say, hey, this song is pretty decent. Let's send it to like NCS.
Yeah.
Like if like stuff like that, I don't think people try that enough. I think people like play it really safe when it comes to like promotion and labels and stuff.
Okay, that's a good answer. How about for you, David? Did you want to add anything onto that?
I completely agree. Definitely like try to get yourself out there, like submit to promotion places, labels, like don't think you're like, I should probably say this to my own self because I'm actually one of them that's like that. I'm like, oh, I'm not that great. I should listen to this myself. It doesn't matter. Like, if people are happy from the things that you create, then you should be happy too. You should submit it everywhere. Get yourself out there.
Makes sense, man. Yeah, it's easy to give ourselves advice that we don't take.
Exactly.
And so in that same vein, I'm curious, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome that feeling of like not being good enough or feeling like your work's still not there yet? How do you overcome that?
Like, actually, yeah, Spirit. Okay, back to Spirit. Spirit was something I was completely new that I tried. I've never done like house or like future house, like that genre. And when I made the intro and then I made the drop and all that, I was like, and when I finished it, I was like, wow, I actually made something really good. And I was, really proud of myself. Don't get me wrong, I definitely get proud of myself for some things. Like when I make something new and I try something new and it sounds really good, I'm proud of myself from that. Just stuff like that, to be honest.
Gotcha. And then Hugo, I want to jump over to you. You mentioned how risk taking is very important for yourself. Taking risks. How do you get the guts to do that?
Winging it. To be honest, whenever I do something like that, I freak the heck out on the inside. But I think it's really important to just do it. Yeah, you can be like terrified to death, and I'm usually terrified to death. Like, I'm a pretty shy guy. I don't really talk to much people. Like, I'm usually like, I usually keep to myself pretty often. But like, just doing that, just like literally just doing one thing could change the path for you entirely. Like, you could blow up overnight, like just doing one little thing could lead you to so much more things.
Wow, that's really cool. So mind over matter, I guess. Just make yourself do it, and even if it's difficult, it's probably better if it's difficult because it could have a better reward. Real quick, guys, I always take questions from the audience they want to ask you. I had one aspiring music producer ask the question, how much time did it take before you felt like you made decent music?
To be honest, it was probably a couple years. Like, after like 2 years or 3 years, I started to become more like happy with what I was creating. Like, before, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I kind of just threw stuff out there, and I was like, oh. And especially with Kai, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I kind of, put things out there, and I was like, So, yeah, it definitely took a couple of years, but eventually you will get there. Don't worry. You'll definitely get there if you keep going at it. Keep trying new stuff, as always.
That's great, man. And another thing I want to point out to get a little more specific on that, because we all know music production. As far as improving and doing stuff, did that entail like sound design or different genres, or what exactly?
Yes, definitely different genres, definitely different sounds, different VSTs. That makes like the big difference. Not using presets. Like, I used to use a bunch of presets. Try to make your own presets. That's what I do now, and I have so much fun making them. And it's like your own little creation, just like music,
Awesome, thanks, man. And then Hugo, over for you. Did you have a question? Answer for the question as well. How long did it take before you felt like you made decent music?
To be fair, it was actually quite recently. I would say October. Like, it was really recent. Well, I haven't been doing music that long. But I would say October would be the point for me where I was just like, I think I'm getting good. I think I'm getting better, because I found like this really old project from like when I met David, basically. And I compared it to like something I made that day, and I was just like, oh my god. I got like, I've improved like by like 1,000 times. I don't know how this happened, but I think I'm really happy with how like I've improved.
Awesome, man. Congratulations. It's super cool. Real quick, you mentioned pulling out an old project. Do you guys ever pull your old projects out and work on them again, or are they completely in the dustbin?
Oh, yes. Hugo knows. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I go back to my old projects from like maybe a year or two, and I'm like, whoa, this is really good. I should like try to remake it, make it sound better, because I really like the idea. I mean, like recently, I recreated a whole track that I did like the beginning of the year. I recreated it from all of my new knowledge, and it sounds so much better.
That's cool, man. All right, and real quick before we wrap this show up, there's one thing I want to touch on because it's a little bit relevant right now. David, I think it was only you at the time, but you did a remix of the Halloween theme, the movie. Why did you choose to do that?
Oh, that's actually really funny. I actually really wanted to make something that was like melodic, but that was like kind of happy on Halloween. Like the start of it was like, you know, the creepy vibe, and then it got all happy, which is something I wanted to try out and see if I could do. So it basically just came from that. I just wanted to like try to make Halloween happy.
Gotcha, yeah. And then just recently they remade the film. Have you guys watched the original or the remake?
I think I watched the original. I don't remember much from it because I remember watching it a long time ago. But I haven't watched the remake, but I might watch it soon.
Yeah. Hugo, are you into scary movies?
No, I hate horror films.
No.
Understandable. The whole episode you guys talked about how you want to make people happy with the music, so I could understand if you don't like horror films. All right, guys, this was an awesome episode with all of the guests. I always do a last section, Spitfire round. I ask you a question, you give a quick response, and we just kind of go like that. So, for this one, I'll ask the question, and we'll have David's answer, and then Hugo's answer, and then we'll go to the next question. Sound good?
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys, here we go. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Chinese food.
What is your favorite weekend activity?
Probably making music.
Sleeping.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. Light blue.
Blue.
What countries do you want to visit?
Ireland.
Asia. Like anywhere in Asia.
What's your favorite social media?
Probably SoundCloud or YouTube.
Twitter.
And finally, what languages do you speak?
Only
Irish and
English.
English.
I only speak English.
All right, guys, and that is all the questions. We are finished. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We got into some good topics, and I think the audience is going to get a lot of value from this episode. As we close, is there any last things you want to say, David?
I'm just great to be here. This was really fun. Yeah.
And then for you, Hugo, anything you want to mention to the audience listening?
Hi, Mom. I'm famous now.
Woo! All right, great stuff. All right, guys, thanks for coming on. Everybody, I encourage you to listen to their stuff. It's really, really quite good. From the early days as heavy EDM and drum and bass and electro house, they've really polished the sound up. It's a lot more unique now. It's very creative, and it just sounds good. I am quite confident that they're going to continue to improve and reach greater heights, so please, by all means, join them on the journey as I have. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.